I now convene the February 26, 2013 regularly scheduled meeting of the Westchester Board of Trustees. Mr. Jones, please call the roll.
Mr. Wong?
Present.
Mr. Lang?
Here.
And Mrs. Stoker has another commitment.
Please set for the record that Mrs. Stoker has an excuse absent. She has a
correct
family matter to attend to.
That's good.
Tonight, I'd like to invite Cody Turner to come out here to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Cody. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Cody. Thank you. Citizens comment. We have Mr. Bruce Jones sign up.
One and only.
Okay.
I'm Bruce Jones, live 5685 McCarthy Court. Reverend, we try so hard to do everything here in love, but sometimes it's just not possible. And I wanted to comment on the January 22nd meeting wherein I asked you, Mr. Wong, that we have a procedural change such that I, as fiscal officer, would be permitted to comment if there's discussion about the minutes that I prepare. Perhaps I can provide some clarification, because there's been a lot of confusion about that. And frankly, there's occasions when I should be permitted to defend myself. And I submitted that was just fair. And, of course, Mrs. Stoker disagreed and says she wanted to keep it the way it was. Remarkably enough, Mr. Wong, you disagreed with her and expressed your support for the change, which is really shocking. How often does it happen? Lee Wong disagrees with Catherine Stoker. Incredible. So you can just imagine how disappointed I was when 2 weeks later at the last meeting you changed. You reneged without a reason. You stated that there was not a consensus, and that was the extent of it. Then Mrs. Stoker jumped in and ran cover, but there was never really an accountability from you as to why there was a change in your part. And I'd be, in all fairness, happy to give you another opportunity to express why. Otherwise, the only conclusion is, here is yet another example when Mr. Wong deferred to Mrs. Stoker. So predictable. In fact, it was at that January 22nd meeting. If you listen to the video, which you can online, 35 minutes, 14 seconds into the meeting, while there's discussion about a zoning issue, and you're speaking, Mr. Wong, about that zoning issue, you can actually hear Catherine whispering to Lee, "We can't comment." Then you look at her and you say, "We better leave it at that." We can't comment. You can say we can't comment, but she has to tell you you can't comment? You know, there's a lot to be said for township government.
Mr. Jones, your 2 minutes is up.
But when you vote for two trustees and you get one who happens to have two votes, you've been robbed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Ms. Boyko, we have no presentation. Action item. I will entertain a motion to approve 2013 operational budget work session minutes.
Also move.
I'll second. Roll call.
Mr. Wong?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
I have not got the input from Mrs. Stoker on the minutes for January 22nd. Has she written to you? Or
I think
feedback?
That's an outstanding issue, and that we should defer discussion until the next meeting, if that's
okay. All right.
what you want.
And February 12th minutes, do you have any inputs?
No.
I had one modification that I made. I already gave the input to Mr. Jones. One word was mistaken.
Okay. Well, I think it would defer to Mrs. Stoker returns. Okay. I will entertain a motion for item D. Motion to approve payments of bills.
Lee, let's have discussion on that. I'm prepared to move forward on approving the minutes if you are. Ms. Stoker submitted her input. We've got it all captured.
I have not received any inputs or anything.
You didn't get the email she sent?
No.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve payment of bills?
Hang on. This was actually, we talked about this last week, and you guys had both gotten the email. I was the one that didn't have time to review it. So we waited based on giving me a chance to review. This is for the January 22nd one. If you want to wait, I don't have a problem with that.
I think it's better to wait till she returns.
Okay.
Let her look at it. You made some correction in it, you say?
No. I made no additions to what we were presented with.
That she presented that night.
Yes, and then we have more things that have been updated since then, if you read the packet for tonight's meeting. I believe Kathy's comments were all captured in there.
I think we should wait till she returns.
Okay.
Okay, item D,
I'll make a motion that we approve payment of bills.
second. Roll call. Any discussion?
Mr. Wong?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
No discussion.
Mrs. Spoigel, requisition greater than $2,500.
Item 1 is an administration expenditure, $5,260.30 to M2R Technology Group Incorporated. This is to renew the annual maintenance and support for the Township's network backup system, including hardware, software, and licensing of the Township system. The system is responsible for the daily backups of the Township and also a critical component of our disaster recovery for data. Item 2, $2,750 to the Butler County Emergency Management Agency. This is to renew the annual maintenance support for the communicator, the emergency notification system. This is not only deployed for internal purposes, but also for any communication notification to residents in the general community. Item 3, fire, $2,907.10 to John Zuban Spring Service. This is to replace the right front springs on vehicle 797, Quint 75. This does operate out of Fire Station 75. And item 4, fire, $2,650 to firefighter medic John Stephen McGinnis. This is to reimburse tuition per the collective bargaining agreement.
I will entertain a motion for item 1 through 4.
I make the motion that we approve items 1 through 4.
Second, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Wong?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mrs. Spoigel, business items.
Annually, the Township plans and budgets for infrastructure replacement or repairs, this year being this item being the 2013 curb contract. Pursuant to the appropriate statutes of the Ohio Revised Code, the bid will be advertised appropriately and submitted for input and also obviously submitted. The recommendation is for the Board of Trustees to allow us to advertise for the 2013 curb replacement program.
Okay. I will entertain a motion for item 5.
I'll make the motion that we approve item 5, a motion to advertise for 2013 curb replacement program.
Second, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Wong?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Okay. Item 6.
Item 6 is for the Board's consideration emergency reading to adopt and certify the 2013 permanent appropriations and declare it as an emergency and dispense with the second reading. As the Board is aware, annually you must adopt permanent appropriations for your calendar year, and that must be done prior to April 1st, 2013. The process is to approve the permanent appropriations, adopt them, approve them, and then certify them to the Butler County Auditor, who then provides them to the Butler County Budget Commission. For your consideration, the appropriations have been attached as part of the resolution, and I think it's important to note that the permanent appropriations represent the capacity of expenditures with no intentions of ever reaching that limit. The Township's budgetary expenditures are constrained by what staff presented to the Board of Trustees during your 2013 operational budget work session or any subsequent board action.
All right, we'll move to citizens' comment. Do we have any citizens' comment? Okay, let's move on to second reading and vote on pending resolution and vote on emergency resolutions. I will entertain a motion to declare resolution number 02-2013 an emergency and dispense with the second reading.
Also move.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Wong?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
I will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 02-2013 as read and as already declared an emergency.
Also move.
Second. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Wong?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Discussion items and trustee comments. Ms. Boyko, do you have any?
I have none.
I just have in respect to Mr. Jones' comment that I don't know why we have so many problems and after problems in just taking minutes. That for the last 8 years I was here with Mrs. Williams, there was never an issue on taking minutes. Mm-hmm. But since you came on board, it's point, counterpoint, editorialized argument. It just leads me to the question of, are you capable of doing the job? I try everything we can to help you be successful. There's nothing underhanded here. I treat you fairly. And that I told you that there was a misunderstanding. I didn't hear it right that night about there was no consensus on that to let you get into discussion during trustee comment. That's why I made the correction the second meeting. That's all I have.
Yeah, I would just like, in defense of Mr. Jones, I don't think he's ever editorialized the minutes. The only ones that have ever done that are us three up here. He purely presents the minutes as they are, and we are the ones that modify. We're the ones that add things that we meant to say, not that was actually said. And we're the ones that sometimes put in there things that didn't quite happen, but what the way we meant to happen. So I don't think Bruce has ever editorialized. I think it only comes from the trustees as we try to modify the minutes to take a particular angle that is favorable to our position. And in terms of, they're not that much different than what Patricia Williams used to do. Patricia was just summarizing what took place at the meeting, accurately portraying all of the votes that took place. And I think that if someone did an analysis, they would find there wasn't a huge amount of difference from the way the minutes were to the way that they are. The only other thing that I'd like to bring up, and really Carl Ruhlman, he's not here tonight, but he's the one that got me thinking about it last night, or at the last meeting, when he said anything $2,500 and over has to come before the trustees for approval. And yet, we have spent significant amount of money on some legal defenses for zoning issues that we really never discussed publicly. And I would like for us to take the position that before we will do things like go after Liberty Tax Guy or the Barry Rydell, that there will be a public discussion before legal dollars are expended to take action against people. I think it's reasonable for our citizens to expect us to have this conversation publicly before we take any actions, and currently that's not the case.
Okay. Let's wait for the full board, and we can discuss on this matter.
Yep.
Since you brought it up the first time.
Yep.
So does that include when you were under indictment, on federal indictment, that money was spent
Was there
on the employee?
Was there trustee money spent?
There was
Township money?
taxpayers' money spent.
No, there wasn't one
You
penny.
testify in court. There were 2 employees there, and that
Lee, when you get subpoenaed by a court of law, you don't have a choice. You have to show up.
yes, but there was township employee was called to defend
Two. I can't think
to
of two.
testify.
There was only one, Miss Boyko. Who was the other one? Oh, no, there was 2. Yeah, Denise was called, yeah.
And there are legal fees involved.
We didn't pay any legal fees for Denise.
Oh yeah, we sure did.
I never approved any. I know I didn't approve any for Judy. If the township paid for them, I didn't vote on that.
Well, we have a law director right there.
Go back and check the record, see who voted on it.
We have law director who can testify to that.
Okay, let's see what, do you want to get the law director up to comment on that?
Mr. Crane, would you like to comment on that?
I'd have to look at the records to refresh my memory. It's been a while. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but Lee, my indictment had nothing to do with township business at all. And the fact that the prosecutors called township employees to testify, we as trustees can't control that. Maybe we should look at what our policy is. We may already have a policy regarding that.
We need to look at it. Well, your indictment has
Has what?
has a lot to do with the township.
It does?
Absolutely.
How so?
You
How so?
illegally earn $300,000.
Time out, Lee.
Through
You're
your
about to get sued.
trustee
You are
influence.
blaspheming me. You are
I'm
talking
not.
lies. I did not illegally earn money, and my indictment had nothing to do with any money that I earned. If you don't want to be sued civilly, you better be careful what you're about to say, mister. Because you have just said a lie about me in a public forum.
No, I wasn't lying.
Yes, you were. Tell me one penny I made that was illegal. My indictment had nothing to do with me making illegal money. That's a bold-faced lie, Mr. Wong, and I'm not going to let you stand there and lie about my record. I'm proud of what happened in that scenario where I was indicted. I was indicted for perjury because I took a stand. When you go up and you take an oath to tell the truth, that's a no-spin zone. You have to tell the truth. And I told the truth exactly as it was. The prosecution didn't like my version of the truth, so they indicted me. I was not afraid of the truth, and I was vindicated. Maybe you don't remember this, Mr. Wong. The vote was 12-0. The last time there was a unanimous not guilty plea in the federal courts in Cincinnati was 1991. It was 20 years previous. So the courts don't make these not guilty pleas in a haphazard fashion. It hasn't happened at all 20 years prior to me. And so you cannot lie about my record. I'm not going to allow it.
You are the only trustee that I know that got indicted.
Do you not understand between the indicted and convicted? That's what the American justice system is built on, Lee. When someone is falsely accused, they have the chance to go before their peers and plead their case. You need a history lesson, my friend. You don't understand that we're a republic, not a democracy. Now you don't understand the difference between indictment and conviction. You need a history lesson. You want to keep talking about this? Because I'd like to get more ammunition in case I sue you. Lying like that. You should be ashamed.
Okay, anything else?
I have nothing else. Except I'd like to wish everybody a wonderful evening. And have a great week.
All right, we have an executive session I will entertain a motion to adjourn the regular meeting and go into executive session with legal counsel for the purpose of considering and discussing 1. Personnel matters, review of benefits and duties of certain non-contract and contract employees, review of retention, tenure, and evaluation of a public employee. 2nd, acquisition, sale, or swap of real property. And 3rd, current litigation. The board will not return.
Also move.
2nd, roll call.
Mr. Wong?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.